I got you.
All right, live.
Okay, we're live right now, guys. So, hi everyone. My name is Georgette Truin. I work for Attorney Vincent Davis, and I have Mr. Guai here from the state of Maine. And we have a special gift.
We have a special gift for you all.
Thank you, God's gift. I'm so sorry, Robert.
You're
We have
okay.
a special guest with us tonight. His name is Robert. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's pronounced Jolacor.
Jolacor. Sounds kind of sexy. It has a little sexy to it.
Mr. Jordan.
Thank you. It's Canadian French. It means happy or beautiful.
Oh, Jolakoi.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, when you're using CPS, that takes the happy part. And
It took a lot of it away. I'll tell you that.
That is true. So tell us, Robert, where are you? Where are you from? Like, what state are we?
Right now, I'm currently in North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
Been here for about the last 20 years of my life.
Okay.
I'm born and raised in Jersey City, New Jersey, right across the river from Manhattan. Spent 31 years up north until I moved down south. Came down here after 9/11 happened. I was supposed to have been in Tower 2. Luckily, I was in traffic and I seen it happen, and I survived that. And that's what made me move to North Carolina. I wanted to get away from all that hustle and bustle. And I came here, met my wife, got engaged, got pregnant, got married, had a baby. Moved back to New Jersey in 2004. Stayed there till about 2007. Came back. We came back. We had 3 kids. We had my oldest daughter, my son, and then my youngest daughter. Moved back to North Carolina. We were here. Everything was going fine. We had a place to live. We were doing good. Had a couple frivolous calls here and there to CPS through people that, you know, how they try to they're mad at you. So, we're going to call CPS on you and cause some trouble. Well, that built up a history. And right after COVID happened, the kids were home, and my middle guy, my son, he was having social anxieties and just thinking about suicide. And he was in a bad way. And we took him to a doctor, to his pediatrician. And we wanted a referral to go see a psychiatrist. And instead of seeing the normal doctor that we do, it was a totally different person. It was a nurse practitioner. And my son was in the office with my wife, talking to him, telling him what was going on. And the doctor got some of the information confused because when he testified in court, it just didn't all match up. Like, my son's story versus his story was just a different on times and stuff. He told my wife, because I wasn't in the office, I was outside the office in the car. It was COVID time. They had that restriction at that time. It was only one parent can go in with the kid. So I let her go, because that's mom. Of course, mom's got to go in, you know. So dad stayed outside. Well, when they came outside, my wife said that they told her that we had to take my son to one of 2 places. Either Daymark, which is a county-run facility, which is like a mental health facility where they try to hospitalize you and stuff like that. And the other option was Moses Cone Hospital, which is here in North Carolina. I've been to both places while I've been living here, dealing with my own problems. Like depression, I was severely depressed after I had gotten burned in 2007. I died 3 times in one day, and I was dealing with a lot of stuff at the time, and it was just crazy. Life is life. You have to live it. You know, no matter what you do, you got to make it through your day. You got to take care of your kids. I have 3 kids, and I love them dearly, and I'd give up my life for them any second of the day. So when that all started, we didn't take them to either place. When we got out of the doctors, he asked, Dad, what is it? What do they want me to do? What are they asking? What do they want? And I said, well, they want me to take you to a hospital. And he heard hospital and he didn't want to go. He clammed up. We went home after the doctor's appointment. We went to the house. We were about 10 minutes away. So we get home and we're telling him what it is, and he didn't want to go. So, all right, well, what do you do? I mean, do I grab this kid and fight him, bring him out to the car and make him go to this hospital and do what they're going to do? Or do I try to get him to another doctor to get a second opinion? No, we'll get him to another doctor. So we came home and we called the insurance company. We switched insurance doctors. We got on the phone with the doctor for the new doctor, and they told us they had to wait for it to go through the system because in North Carolina, they want the doctor's name on the actual Medicaid insurance card before they really see them. So we talked to them. We're like, look, could we get him in earlier? Is there a way? And they were like, call back on Monday morning and we'll get him in. So that was Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We would have had to wait 4 days to get him into the other doctor. Now, we've been dealing with it all through COVID the whole time. Like, we didn't know about it, but he's been dealing with it, not harming himself or anything like that. He hadn't made a promise to his girlfriend that he wouldn't harm himself and stuff like that. Me and my wife didn't even know about this until right after COVID when it was time to go back to school. When he went back to school, the first day he went to go get his schedule. He was trying to walk up to the desk to go get his schedule. He got so scared and clammed up he couldn't do it. We couldn't force him to go do the school like that. So we just said, you know what, come back home. You do remote learning until we get you to the doctor, and we'll work on getting you back to school. Not a problem. School was working with us. Everything was going fine. I mean, we had them all aware of the situation. But social services, they're in a whole new class with this doctor. Well, anyway, after we called the insurance company and switched doctors, I had called the doctor's office that had told us what to do. And I had spoken to the doctor and told him I wasn't doing it and that he was crazy. And I just went off on him. I mean, probably shouldn't have cursed at him or anything like that, but I was a little heated, so I gave it to him. I guess he called CPS or had his office call. That's what he said in his testimony. Then a couple hours later, I think it was about 2:30 in the afternoon, I'm sitting outside on my front porch having a cigarette. There's two ladies walking up from my landlord's house, which was behind me. They were walking up the gravel road and they come up onto my territory. And I was like, oh, I know what this is about. So I get my cell phone out of my pocket and I start recording from where they're walking. I have them walking up to my property. I have from the start of her saying to me telling her to get off my property. She starts asking me questions, yada, yada, yada. She was there about maybe 3.5 minutes total time. And then I get that attitude, that brush the hair, I'm better than you kind of attitude. And when I noticed that, I was like, you know what? I'm not answering no more questions. Just, you got a second to get off my property. And she turned around, walking off. You could hear her say to the coworker that was with her, well, we're just going to call the cops to get them to help us. All right. So they go outside the property. They sit there. They call the cop. The cop shows up. It's a Randolph County Sheriff. Two of them show up. He comes to my gate. He's asking me if I'll talk to him or if he could talk to my son or blah, 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 blah. And at first I was really nasty. I mean, I'm not a person that likes the law, especially when you call them on me and bring them to my doorstep. I'm not too cool with that. At first I wasn't going to talk to him. I was just going to blow him off and be just a jerk to him. Then I decided, well, no, let me go talk to him. So I go to the gate. I talk to him. They ask me, can you do me a favor? Can you bring your son out so I can see him? At least let me see him and make sure he's all right. Okay, no problem. I go to the door. I walk in and don't even walk all the way in. I just crack the door and I yell at my wife, hey, honey, tell Robbie to come out here. I need him for a minute. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said his name. So he come out. I tell him on the porch, look, Robbie, they're here to talk to you. They want to talk to you. Just go there, talk to them, and if the other ladies come walking over, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And we go to the gate. He shakes the cop's hands. He's talking to him. He's fine. Cop asks him, son, do you have any intentions, not thoughts, but do you have any intentions of harming yourself? No, sir, I have no intentions. I have thoughts, but no intentions. I wouldn't harm myself. Me and my girlfriend talked about this, and I promised my girlfriend that I would never think about it and never do it again. Okay, and then they're asking a couple more questions, and they're talking about, well, what were you doing? I was in my room playing my video game, blah, 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 blah. All right, well, they tell Rob, you're fine. Go back inside, son. Go finish your game. Go do what you were doing. He goes back inside, and they tell me, well, look, we're going to tell them to get out of here. If they want to go any further, they need to go get a warrant or whatever. We'll get them out of your hair. They tell them to leave. They leave. I'm thinking, all right, it's over. I don't have to really. Maybe they'll come back tomorrow and try it again. No. 10:30 that night, I had the Randolph County Sheriff's Department knocking on my door. They had 3 custody orders for all 3 of my children. I tell the cop, there's no way my kid's going with you. Over my dead body, you're going to have to kill me. He decided that he didn't want to do that. And he says to me, well, let me look through this paperwork and see if there's a way we can avoid it tonight and do it tomorrow or deal with something tomorrow. As he was reading the paperwork, which I never had in my hands and I didn't get to view at the time, I had no idea what anything said in the paperwork. He's reading through it. He finds a checkbox that wasn't checked, the use of force. So the police couldn't actually use force to come in and take my kids. They had to go voluntarily, or we had to give them to them voluntarily. That wasn't going to happen. So the cop told social services.
Wait, Robert. I'm sorry to interrupt you, baby, but you said you had a box marked "use force," like
the use of force. Yes, it was certain boxes that a judge can mark off to tell the police what they can and can't do when they come to get the kids. And the box use of force was not selected, so the cops could not use force to come in and grab my kids.
I didn't even know it was an option.
No, that's crazy. I never heard that either.
Me neither, and a whole bunch of shit down here I never heard either. I got some stuff throughout the case that's questionable. This is the most corrupt place I've ever been. I mean, I hear people say this is corrupt. I lived in Hudson County, New Jersey. When I was growing up, that was the most corrupt place to live. It was almost as bad as Newark. But now I'm in Randolph County, North Carolina. This little shithole is the worst place I ever lived, the most corrupt I've ever seen. Like, they do off the wall stuff. Our sheriff's got like 7 or 8 different lawsuits out against them already that the taxpayers are going to have to fund. I mean, it's ridiculous down here. If anybody ever thinks about coming to Randolph County, North Carolina, I'm the first one to tell you, keep driving, keep going, go further south, go west. So back to it. The boxes the use of force was not selected on the paperwork. So the cop couldn't use force to come in and grab my kids, couldn't just grab them and pull them out, couldn't beat me up, couldn't do nothing at that point. If they would have, it would have been a problem. So he tells social services, look, the use of force ain't selected. I can't just grab these kids. You're going to have to call your supervisor and have them switch this so we can go handle the situation. Social services wasn't having that. They didn't like that idea. They were yelling and screaming at the cop like, oh, no, you got to do your job and go get them kids and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Me and my wife are outside dealing with this. My 3 kids are inside. Now, they're all crying and upset, worrying about what's going on. And we didn't notice until later on when we went back in. But as that all was going on, my 3 kids opened up the back door and ran out the back door through the woods and had my oldest daughter's boyfriend pick them up and drive them out of county. That's how terrified and scared they were of going with CPS. It's not a bad home environment. They love home. Matter of fact, my oldest, who has aged out since this all started, she moved back home. She was in the 18 to 21 group, and then she got out of that. She left that and came back home to mom and dad's house. She's here right now. She's sitting on the living room to the couch. The other two kids, they haven't aged out yet. They're still in this whole shit show that we're in. We're in this 20. We're in our 25th or 26th month going on. So back to it. When they come to take them, all that stuff happened, and CPS is screaming and yelling at the cops, like, "No, you got to take them." And he's like, "Look, I'm not doing it. It said I can't. You have to have your lawyer go to the judge and get this all taken care of, and then we can go do our job." Well, they're still yelling, and they want the supervisor here. All right, well, now this cop calls a supervisor. Sergeant comes to my house, and he opens up the paperwork, and he looks, and he talks to his officers, and he looks, and he sees it. All right, this box is not selected, blah, 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 blah. He concurs with his officers. We're not going to do this. You have to go to the judge and get this changed. So finally, the cops said, "Look, we got other calls we got to go handle. You go do what you got to do, and then we'll handle this." So they're leaving. CPS is like, "Oh, I'm not staying here. I don't trust to stay here. I'm leaving." So they get up and leave too. And she said she didn't feel safe, like I was gonna harm her or something. I mean, come on, I ain't got time in the day to harm you. I'd rather live my life and be happy. So when they drive away, we go back inside thinking, all right, averted for the night. We all trouble over. Let's go home and go to sleep now. We can relax and deal with it tomorrow morning. Get up, call a lawyer, do what we got to do. We walk back in the house and notice the back door is wide open. Luckily, my pets didn't run out and go jump them and run with them. We walk back in, notice that's going on. So we start calling the kids, texting the kids, trying to find what's going on. About 5 minutes passes by, and we get an answer from the kids. They tell us where they are. We jump in the truck. We drive and go pick them up. We get there, we pick them up. My oldest says, "Look, I don't feel safe going home. They're coming back. I'm not going home. I'm going to my boyfriend's house. Can I stay the night at my boyfriend's house?" I'm not the type of parent that was cool with staying out, doing whatever. No, you come home. But that day, I was like, "So you feel safe because I can't provide you a safe home right now. You go with your boyfriend." And me and my wife got the other two kids in the truck, and we started driving to the house.
Robert, take a break, honey. Just take a breather for a second. Um, I know what you're feeling. It's hard. It's hard. But I want to ask you a question real quick. How old is your child? That one that wanted to hurt himself.
At the time, he was 15.
And was he going through something personal at the time, or was he joking? Because I'm gonna give you an example. One of my neighbors' son, the other day he was playing outside. What do you call it? Frisbee. Frisbee. Like
Mm-hmm.
with his three boys, three friends. And then he said, "Man, I'm gonna kill myself if you miss that one like that." My other neighbor across the street heard the kill myself part, but the boys were playing because my camera can get everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained to her, I said, "No, they're playing. That it's kind of like me saying, oh my, I lost my damn phone. I'm gonna kill myself. I don't know how to function without my phone, right? That doesn't mean literally I'm gonna kill myself. It's like becoming
It's
a
like
word.
it's like a figment of speech. It's like just the way everybody
Yeah,
speaks.
exactly. Kind of like that. Like,
I didn't.
gee, yeah.
It was
So is
more.
that kind of like him?
No, he actually at one point he said that he thought about jumping in front of a car. I
That
mean,
was months prior.
but that was months and months prior, and that was the issue, the conflict with the doctor and his testimony. My
But did
son
he
had said,
mean it, or was he silly? He's like has a dry sense of humor.
no, I think he meant it. It was a reach for help. Like he must have been thinking about it.
Oh wow.
I
But
mean,
it was
we
months
had
prior.
it was months and months prior, and I believe when he told his girlfriend that he wouldn't do it, I believe he felt that in his heart that he wouldn't do it, and he would keep his promise.
Until that day.
We didn't hear about it until the day at the doctor's. Like he wouldn't discuss it with us. He would never come out and say like, "Oh, I want to kill myself," or "I want to jump in front of a bus."
That's horrible.
But to give a little background to that, we had gone through a period where we had gotten evicted, and we couldn't find a home quick enough, so we got stuck staying in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to like 2.5, almost 3 years of like hell, like hotels. Can never save enough money to get out because you're always using it for the next day or next week. And it was just so impossible to save up when you're staying at a hotel paying $60 a day, $70 a day for a room. But I was able to get us out of the hotel, and we were staying at that trailer that we were living in at the time. And, I mean, it wasn't great. Was it the Ritz? No. Was it anything great that I had before? No, it wasn't a house. It was a trailer. I mean, it was a mobile home. It was a 3-bedroom mobile home. It was enough to hold us off till we could find something better. The kids had a big front yard. They were happy. They had their pets, and we were rebuilding life. Now we're in a 3-bedroom brick home. I mean, I'm moving up. I'm stepping up. Does it reflect in our plan? Does it help us any? No. They have not made one motive or one positive move to help or show that they're trying to reunite my family at all. Everything they have done has been negative and downing and causing more problems. It's outright lying. I mean, falsifying stuff to the judge, falsifying drug tests, violating my civil rights. Every time I go for a drug test, when they call and say you got to go for a random drug test today, that means I'm going to have my rights violated because I get a strip search before I get to do an observed urine. And that's Randolph County's policy, but the place they send you to, they won't tell you that, and the county won't say it's their policy. They'll say it's the other place's policy, but no, it's really Randolph County policy. Because at Safety Works, the place I went to do it, when it was going on, I actually took my phone out and took a picture and a video of what the guy was saying. No, you got to drop your pants and your underwear to your ankles, lift your shirt up and spin in a circle before I'll give you a cup and watch you pee. Now, to me, I really don't like to admit this. There's another hard thing that I didn't have to swallow until this whole thing started. You know, I never let my wife know or anything like that before, but it had to come out. I was molested by a priest when I was a kid. And the first time that they did that strip search, the guy that did it, he's lucky he's still breathing because I was ready to kill him. But I went through it and I did it. I got out of that, and ever since, like, I refuse to do that. When they ask for that, I'll walk out. I don't care. You're not violating me no more. You're not making me think about what happened to me as a kid no more. So now, back to that whole story. We had the DSS. They get all our doctor's reports of all our drug tests and stuff that we've been taking. Me and my wife were both on Suboxone for pain pill addiction. I had gotten burned real bad, and I was on pain pills for a while there. And then after that, I had broken or gotten fractures, compound fractures or stress fractures to the L1, L2, L3 vertebrae in my spine. So I had to actually go to a doctor, and I was on pain pills. They wouldn't do surgery. They wouldn't talk fusions or anything like that. It was Here's a script. Here's a script. Here's a script. Every month, the doctor, every time I went to the doctor, he would just open the door slightly, he'd pop his head in and be like, "Is everything okay?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, everything's fine." "Okay, the nurse will be in a minute with your script." Boom, boom, walk out with my script. That was 5 years, 6 years I was like that on pills. And they just kept upping it when they wouldn't work no more. But this is all my fault, you know. I'm just I'm just some drug addict on the corner. um so when that whole thing was going on, they got all our doctor's records, and as we're in court, the DSS attorney goes into all our doctors, our drug tests, and drug tests that my wife actually passed for her doctors. Her doctor testified and said she's never failed a drug test but one time for him. And they asking my wife about all these different positives on drug tests, and methamphetamines and amphetamines and oxycodone and hydrocodone. I mean, everything from top to bottom. Here recently, the last one, her last urine, they said they had THC in it. Now, my wife used to smoke pot when we were first together. I mean, you're talking 20 years ago, before we even had our first kid, is when my wife quit doing all that. I still, or did still, smoke. I mean, I'm a religious person. I believe it should be legalized. I'm an advocate. I believe there's so many good things to it, but I'm not the law. I wish I was. But DLS they have played some shitty games, from falsifying drug tests to twisting testimonies, outright lying. I have it on video, as I said earlier. When the girl came to my house, I had it on video when she was there. When she testified the first time at the first court date, she testified that I had cursed her out off my property. Right. Like, and I threatened to kill her, or cursed her out and up and down. And on that video, if I was to show you and send you that video, you could watch from start to finish, and you wouldn't hear me say but maybe 2 curses in the entire thing. Not at her, just at the way I regularly speak. Like, the F word comes out of my mouth like a normal vocabulary. I mean, I grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey. I'm from the middle inner cities of the hood. I mean, hell, I've talked that way. They've done everything from violating the rights to falsifying drug tests. My son, when they got the last doctor, when I switched, they had sent the information to the judge so it can get to the social worker. Well, one of my drug test results, I was positive for oxycodone, because they were switching my medicines from what it was to another one, and it wasn't working exactly right, so it didn't last as long. So I had messed up. Turn around, and they gave the copy of my drug test to my son. He's got a picture of it on his cell phone. He was at a birthday party talking to one of my friends, saying, "Hey, Mark, look, you want to see the copy of my father's drug test that he failed, what he failed it for?"
It's the only one
And
that have failed the whole time.
And there's only one way he would have gotten that paperwork. He wouldn't have gotten it from me. He wouldn't have gotten it from my doctor. He only got it from the social worker or the GAL. That's a HIPAA violation.
Or the foster mother.
There's so many violations and rule breaks and law breaks by them. It's just non-ending. I mean, it's just, we're 20, 25, 26 months into this. Adjudication, it took them a year and 3 days to get us adjudication. The first court date that we went to, the first non-secured hearing, I think it was, It was 7 days and 7 days, and then it went from 7 to 30, and then from 30 to 90, and then every 90 you go back. Well, at the first court date, the first judge, she told me and my wife that she court ordered us to drug test, and the drug test itself, that they shouldn't. Her actually telling us the court order to go do this at this time before adjudication in North Carolina is illegal for her to do that. Like she's not allowed to do it. But we didn't know that at that time. She gave us a court order, bang, we went, we did it. We also told to go do mental health assessments and substance abuse assessments and parenting classes and domestic violence classes, and which all of that is done. The only thing that's remaining is my wife has to do domestic violence counseling. Our plan is almost completely finished to what they wanted us to do from the start. But here we are. They're changing the plan from reunification to guardianship. And
guardianship with who?
Nobody's named yet. Now, my mom, who lives up in New Jersey, and my sister, they have an ICPC for my kids, and North Carolina said something that it's a law that they have to be a licensed foster parent. So my mother and sister had to go through all the hoops and hoopla up in New Jersey and inspections at her house to get passed and get approved. So now my mom is now a licensed foster parent in New Jersey. That's all went through. Like the paperwork is back in North Carolina, and they're waiting on that to go through.
Why are they making it? I found out the reason they're making it so. They're adamant about rather getting the grandparents to be foster parents and the siblings is because, or the relatives rather, is because they're not going to get that funding unless they're foster parents. And that's why they enforce that, not because the safety of the child.
Okay.
Because they already know the child is safe, but they want to have control over the family still, because if they forget to fill out the annual paperwork, they immediately go and remove those kids and put them into a foster home.
Gotcha.
Another foster home. So they hold them captive and they're under microscope. A family, that is. Because if they don't renew it or they don't fill out that paperwork, it's not going to help the social workers. In California, a social worker can get between, depending on a child age, they get between $28 to $4,300 as a bonus. A bonus, that's more than I make a month, But you understand what I'm saying? Kind of like they give you a bonus. Like if that social worker gets 5 kids in a home, and they're under age, that's a lot of money. So they get a lot of money, but they say that they're not making enough, but they are. They're making a lot of money because a social worker now drives Lexus and Mercedes and Teslas are increasing in the social workers world right now. And that shows you that they're getting paid very well. So again, that money is supposed to be spent on you and your family to get your help or to improve living situation. That's what our tax dollars should be going towards. But instead, they're taking that tax dollar. Our Social Security fund is shitty right now. And I'm sorry it's shitty, but it is. Or poopy, whatever you want to call it. And let me say it that way better. But
hell, even the state of North Carolina has taken me and my wife out on child support. We have to pay the state. I mean, it's ridiculous.
For your kids.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll still continue to pay child support. Just give me my kids back. I'll give you more money if you want it. You know what I mean? Just give me my kids back. That's all I want.
The thing about it is, what I heard today is that there's a gal. She's on disability because she a car hit her. So her spinal cord is, they put like some kind of gap to protect her lower part of the spinal cord,
Mm-hmm.
and she can't work for the rest of her life. Now, she had a kid before that. Her kid was 2 years old at the time. Social workers are making her take that disability money to pay child support for
Shouldn't be
something
allowed.
she didn't do. She did not. Okay. Somebody hit her. She was walking. It was one of those hit.
Hit and run.
Yeah. And the gas station that she was crossing the street, there was a camera, and it showed everything. She told me that there was a detective involved. They saw the camera, and she was just walking. That's it. The only thing she got from the gas station was a Diet Coke and Doritos, and she was munching on that thing and waiting for the light to turn. So that this person ran into where the light intersection is before she even crosses. So she injured herself. Social workers were involved because she had the stroller and the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't her fault. Nothing happened to the baby. But as soon as they heard it was a baby,
Oh, they jumped on that.
they jumped on that,
Oh
took
yeah.
the baby, even though the father was there. The actual biological father was there. He blamed himself because he was fixing the car. He told her, just go walk. I'm fixing the car, blah, blah, blah. So he was blaming himself and in the hospital. And he's like, it's my fault. It's my fault. But all they heard is that the father ran into the mother. But even though, this is weird, even though the camera from the gas station
Shows other story.
something completely different car, different driver license, different license plate, different driver. Her husband was at home fixing their avalanche. They have an avalanche. So, but they still insisted in court that it was the husband that ran the wife to kill her and his son.
Yep. It's whatever narrative they want to make up, and you don't get a chance to prove it. And I don't know about where you are, but I could tell you where I am. The attorneys that you get appointed, they're in cahoots with these assholes.
Robert,
they don't do nothing for you.
that's everywhere. We have an attorney that came on the seminar. She used to work for DCFS in California. She said to me that was the last seminar we did. She said to me and everybody that was listening at the time is that they would tell her what to say. She couldn't process at the time. She's like, I became an attorney to help people. She was one of the head attorneys. I know who he is. Can't stand that guy. Anyways, he became head of attorneys because no one liked him. When no one liked him, that means he's doing his job.
Yep.
But he told her that all of the clients like her. They loved her. So he said, you're doing something wrong. You're not implementing the rules.
Right.
What rules? He said, well, you're not supposed to defend these people. Basically, in other words, you're supposed to be silent.
Or knock them down.
You're supposed to
Or
do everything
influence them to come to what? To be obedient to the social workers.
That's exactly what they tell us all the time. Just do what they want you to do and just get it over with.
It's the same satanic school, sweetie. It's the same thing. They're possessed by demons, and I meant that with every bit of, I literally with everything in me. Because a normal human being would never allow themselves to continue
To be that
on.
way. Yeah, I can never help anybody do that. No, never.
Especially when the children are not in danger. See, supervisors tell the workers, we don't want these children, Robert, because they're damaged goods.
Damaged goods, right?
Focus on the ones who are not damaged goods, and let's pick on the parents, make them lose their minds. And if they didn't do drugs, we're gonna walk them through rehab, force them to rehab, even though the rehab centers are saying, "Why are you here? You don't even do drugs. You're not a druggie. We know if you're a druggie, we would know. You're not. So why are you here? I'm here, ma'am, to get my children." Well, you know what they say? They say this is stupid. They write a release saying this man is not on drugs, or this woman is not on drugs. You know what the court says? She's biased or he's biased. We have to send them to another facility. So meanwhile, the parents go to all this. They lose their jobs. They lose their freaking mind. They lose everything.
Yep.
And then they force the parent to get a job at McDonald's to pay child support.
Even funny, the way that they try to force you to get a job, right? And then they want you to be at court, be at visit, be at this doctor, be at that doctor, be at the lawyer, and everything is smack in the middle of the day.
Yep.
So how do you expect me to actually hold a job? If I had a full-time job and didn't work, it's a good thing the way I am. Like I guess you can consider me a hustler. I don't have a full-time job, but I know enough people that I can go do work for, and I'll make a living. I'll always make money enough to live and have my house and pay my bills. The place we live in, we're good standings, no problems, no situations. My lights are on, my water's running, everything is fine. Like there is no reason why my kids can't be here.
Exactly.
Like she came and did a home inspection already. And when she walked in the door, she was mortified. Like her eyes popped out of her head. Like she couldn't believe what she walked into. Like the house. Like, oh my God, you got 2 acres of property? You got an acre that's covered with trees? And you got an acre that's not? Oh my God, really? Oh, and then she walks in and she sees the colors and she sees all the family things on the wall and she sees love and this and that. Eyeballs were big and wide. She couldn't stand it. And she had a report back that the house is perfectly fine and safe for the kids. Then a couple weeks later, she decides in court that, oh no, I need to go back there and do another inspection so I can go into the garage and the outbuildings to make sure they're safe for the kids as well. The garage ain't even part of where I go. I don't even go in the garage. The landlord asked me to stay out of there. That was her father's place, and that's like a little sacrilege for him. Like, stay out of there, please. Just that's my dad's spot. His tools and everything are in there. He used to paint NASCAR cars when he was younger in the garage. And my landlord had all of his paint cans and all that stuff back there, and she didn't want nobody back there. So I'm not letting you go back there. No, there's no reason for you to need to go there. Oh, well, I need to see everything. She ain't been back there since. Thank God. Well, she showed up one day with the GAL unannounced. She never called me, never anything to set up an appointment. And when she got on my property, she thought she was going to be treated nicely.
That was right after that storm when we had all those trees and branches out in the yard.
Yeah, we had we had a storm here, and we got plenty of trees on my property. And there was a tree that came down in the backyard. There was 2 trees on the side of the house that had branches ripping out of it. I had to go out there with a chainsaw and cut it. Like I was busy for days. And it was right after that, and she wanted to come in and do a home inspection and do this and do that. I looked at her and get the F off my property. If you want to come back, you better call me and make an appointment with me. You ain't just going to show up here. Oh, well, we can do whatever we want. Oh, really? You ain't coming in my goddamn house. Get the F off my property. I don't deal with that. You ain't going to narrate to me how I'm going to live my life at my house. I'm the one that pays the bills, you lady, not you. You want to come in, you better call me and make an appointment. Tell me what day and what time. I'll give you full access to my house. I'll put my dogs out in the backyard for you. But if you want to go out in the backyard and go check out the garage and the outbuildings, if my dogs happen to jump off the back porch, over the gates and over the fences,
Mm-hmm.
they attack you. That's on you. That's not
Mm-hmm.
on me. That's on you. Oh, you're gonna have to put your vicious dogs up.
They're not.
My vicious dogs, sweetheart, I could walk in my house and sit on the floor and get almost licked to death by 5 dogs. They're not vicious. They just don't know who you are. You're walking into their house, their property. They smell you. They don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're foreign to them. That's their natural reaction is to bark and make an action. You're something new. So trying to tell me my dogs are vicious, trying to tell me to do this and do that, what I'm going to do
I
at
wish
my
her dogs were vicious enough to eat her. Never
Oh, I
mind.
wish too, because I would definitely invite
Or
her over
grab
and
her
put her on
from
the
where
couch.
the sun doesn't shine. Mhm.
Oh yeah, trust me. If I had my pit bull I had when the kids were younger, he
Mhm.
had gone a little cuckoo, and I had to make a choice to put the dog down or worry about me and my wife and my kids.
Mhm.
Objective, dog is down. Me, my wife, and my kids are still alive.
Mhm.
So I'm a parent. I'm gonna do what's best for my children, regardless of the fact. Don't matter, no matter what. I'm not gonna put him in a bad situation or put
I
him in a
agree.
right. Exactly. When we stayed
But
in the
you know,
hotel, my
but the
kids didn't leave the room.
but the thing is, I not to interrupt you,
You're
um,
good. You're
Robert.
good.
Um, there, no matter what you do or what you say, if you guys cannot afford an attorney, you cannot help yourselves.
Oh yeah.
I'm
We
gonna give
actually.
you, but listen, I want to say something because I spoke to a couple today, 2 people. I mean, a married couple, 2 people.
Mhm.
How can I? I'm not saying it right. 2 married couple. There you go.
2 couples.
2 couples. There you go. And Darren, I do need to sleep. You're right.
Yeah, a couple of couples is what you're saying.
Couple of couples, right?
A pair of couples.
And they both are actually, none of you guys are bad parents, okay? But the bad parents have their kids. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
got
do.
something for
I
that.
swear. Okay, tell me after this one. So they were
Okay.
saying that, okay, so they're neighbors. So what happened was they had a barbecue party for one of the kids. And, they invited other neighbors, blah, blah, blah. So one of the kid had a candle. And then the mother was putting the candles, it was a 4-year-old kid. And then she turned around, right? She's like, oh, we're missing this one. And then the child held one of the candle and, he was I guess he was trying to blow it or something. He wasn't burned or anything, but the wax fell on his finger.
Hmm.
And the father was telling me on the phone, he's like, Georgette, there was no burn marks. There was nothing. It was you know, just nothing. And then he said, try it with any child. Like you could hold a child and then walk next to a door and then slam the door with your hand and then tell the child, oh, I'm so sorry, baby. Are you okay? And that child is going to cry.
Hmm.
But they're not hurt. Get it? It's
Hmm.
like something they're doing on TikTok that I've seen. It's just something in the child's like, oh, yeah, I'm hurt. So I'm going to have to cry now. But
Hmm.
they're not hurt. You know what I mean? So,
Children don't cry abnormal. What they do is I always
yeah,
learned that it was the person's reaction. Like
yes,
if a
to
kid
the
runs into the wall and the
right.
parent don't give a reaction, the kid's
They're
not
not
gonna
going to
cry.
cry. And that's true.
Exactly.
That's very
Exactly.
true. Because I used to fall a lot. And if my mom and dad give me they're like, so, oh, are you okay? I would like kind of tear up.
Hmm.
I know when nobody's looking and I fall, I just get up. I don't cry. You know? I just like, is anybody looking? But and that happened in my adult years, by the way.
Hmm.
But again, just to make a long story short, so the other neighbor was running towards the child to make sure the child is okay. They have I think she said 6 months old baby in a stroller. So the father was holding the stroller while the mother's running towards the other child to make sure he's okay. And then the father's just standing there with the stroller watching. According to the neighbors, they said that there's a social worker like 4 houses down.
Hmm.
Supposedly, somebody called and reported child abuse. Now,
Yeah.
None of the neighbors did because they're close. Because you have the neighborhood where you have a close group of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that you guys are friends with. That's how it was. So that social worker that lives 3 homes down is the one that reported them because they knew that these children are adoptable.
Mm-hmm.
Good family, good job.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Everything is going right for them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
his and her cars, his and her car parking garage. They lack nothing. They lack nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So they came and took the baby without a warrant. Okay, that's in Toluca County. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Toluca County, yeah, that's what they said. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Toluca
What
County
state?
in California.
Oh, in California.
Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but okay. Anyways, it's in California. It's northern. Okay, so anyways, social workers went to both homes, and took the kids.
Jesus Christ.
And they would not leave the kids with best friends, godmothers or godfathers or whatever. It doesn't They don't
Mm-hmm.
want to leave the kids with the grandparents. They don't want to leave the kids with the aunt. Nothing. You know what they said? They said nope. For their safety, we're gonna have to put them with strangers.
Mm-hmm.
So the father is like, wait a minute now. My son never been away from me. I read him stories every night. It's the father and son thing that they do. He
That's
started
over.
crying, and his wife said he got down on his knees. She said, "I've never seen my husband beg anyone." He got down on his knees and he wept and he begged them to leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
His wife said to me, and I swear, as God is my witness, I want to go meet that social worker in person. And I'm not joking you. I want to go meet them in person. And she said that she's going to send me the camera, her neighbor's camera, and her
Mm-hmm.
camera, and the other neighbor. So basically, there's like witnesses to all this.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to personally spit on his face for doing this. Let me
Yeah,
tell you why. Because a
they don't
grown
need it.
man seeing another man get down on his knees who did nothing wrong to that child
And begged them.
and beg for not removing his son. It's a bond.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
for them to do that and laugh at him and then write in the court paper that the father needs mental
Health. Yep.
evaluation.
Yep.
So, to me, for them to do such a thing, and I'm reading laws and I'm reading laws and I even got the law book and it costs a lot of freaking money. But you know what? I'm learning as I go, and every violation they commit, they're not held accountable for.
None. None.
And
None.
and attorneys are now losing their license when they go hard for their client. Did you guys know that?
No.
2 attorneys told me that in California. So when they see an attorney with balls who's not going to give up, and that attorney knows how to handle themselves in court, that those demons are afraid of that attorney. But the other ones who are cowards, and I'm sorry to attorneys, I apologize, you know, to some of you guys that are cowards, they run away from the client and they don't want to face them.
They avoid
So
you.
exactly. So therefore, it's so hard to find attorneys because now they're trying to intimidate those attorneys.
Oh yeah.
Newbies,
We
newbies, right, right. So that's very important for you guys to understand. You need an aggressive attorney that
mm-hmm.
understands narcissistic behavior. If you guys don't understand me, a narcissist has the same trait as a demon.
Yep.
I'm not joking. Same trait as a demon. Look what it says about a narcissist. Go in the Bible and look what it says about the devil and his flying monkeys. Okay? So those people are demonic because they attack the parents, the child, for profit, and they make the parent lose their damn mind where they don't sleep, they don't eat. And if they eat, they probably eat like chips for a living. Because all they can do is eat junk food because They don't want to sleep because when they sleep, they dream. And when they
Yep.
dream, they think of their children. And when they think of their children, they wake up and they distract their mind so they don't have to think about them. It is
It's
the most disgusting behavior in America, where you are funding Ukraine and you're giving billions and billions and billions of dollars, but yet you're neglecting your own people. You're neglecting your own soldiers. You're neglecting your own American blood. And you're
yeah,
allowing other people to come in the country where
left and right, left and
nothing
right.
is right in this country. I am so sad to say, America, you have failed everyone. Every
Yeah,
citizen in America should be
way too
ashamed
long.
of yourselves because you're not standing up to this corruption, but you're enabling the narcissist and the demon to continue on with
Hmm.
the journey of kidnapping children from good families, while
Yep,
the ones who need help are in the hands of the abuser and the abuser's boyfriend or
yep.
girlfriend, where that child is being raped multiple times and die from hunger.
Hmm.
To me, that's what America is
See
right
now, when you said that, and I said, I got something for you.
now.
Um, the cop, the first cops that came when the DSS first came to the house, I have them on video, and they knew I was video when I made it, verbally announced it to them when I was walking up to them. The one cop who had higher rank, one was like a trainee, and the other one was a training officer, I guess. And the one with higher rank, he turns around and says to me while he's talking to us that DSS leaves the ones they should take and takes the ones they should leave.
There you go. There
I
you go.
have that on video
Yes, sir.
recording coming out of a county sheriff's mouth.
Amen.
What does that tell you? Even the cops are getting
Everyone.
tired of helping them.
A lot of cops in LA County, by the way, just so you guys know, they're fed up with CPS.
A lot of them across the country are,
Yep.
because I hear it. A lot of people that I'm talking to say, "Look, the cop when he was here, he didn't want to help him. He didn't want to do nothing for him. Because when he was at my door, no, he was all about helping me.
Yeah.
Paperwork looking for.
Yeah, when he that one that came to take my kids that night, when he came to my house, like I guess he thought, oh, well, these must be abused kids. Let's go get them.
Mhm.
And when he got there and he realized, look, you ain't taking my kids unless it's over my dead body, buddy. You better get tough because you about to get hurt. And I guess he realized, look, this guy ain't. My kids were sitting there crying, not wanting to go with you. They ran across the house into the back room, the furthest point away from you, and they were held up, locked up behind the door, burled up, all huddled up, hugging up to each other. My kids are close. They were taught to love, honor, respect everybody. Like
Mhm.
I've had people tell me that I've got amazing, great kids. Like my kids are well mannered, polite, well behaved, they're educated, loving, adoring kids. My son, any animal in the world could be terrified of a human being. If my
Mhm.
son was around, that animal is going to go up to him. My youngest daughter, butterflies come to her and land on her head.
Oh.
Like these kids are angelic. They don't do anything wrong. We never had any kind of discipline problems. We never had any suspension problems at school. We had a bullying problem. We had to deal with that. My wife got arrested. I got banned from every school property in the county. I mean, we had issues growing. Like the schools didn't want to protect the kids. We're gonna let you know about it. You know what I mean? That's my kids. At one point, we actually took our kids out of the county schools and started homeschooling them. And then
Mhm.
the kids, once they got older, like towards the 7th grade age, they wanted to go back to school. I said, look, if you want to go back, you can. We'll do it, but no, it's going to open up to what was there. I mean, that could all happen again. And they all went back to school. And when they went back to school, they were 2 grades ahead of what the school was teaching them. My kids were so bored at school the first year, they were like, "This is insane. I learned this 2 years ago with daddy and mommy. I got a college degree." Like the back then in grammar school, the principal and I said, "I'm going to pull my kids out and teach them at home." "Oh, you ain't got the education for that." "Really? Surprise! Guess what? I got a graduate from college." You didn't know that, lady, because the way I speak and act, you might not think I have a college degree, but yeah, I have a college degree in computer science. I'm pretty smart.
Awesome. Hey, Robert, 1 second, baby. I just wanted to say to Player Mike Unlimited, I do know an attorney in Salt Lake City. In fact, contact Scott Williams. He's a CPS defense attorney, very good attorney. I did speak with him, and I'm sending the information right now. That's his phone number and his full address. Um, you can contact him. He's in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Okay, I just I'm trying. I'm listening to you, Robert. I'm not trying to ignore you in
Oh,
whatsoever.
you're good. You're good.
I'm trying to respond to people who need help, and this is the attorney that you need. Player. I'm sorry.
I need.
Go on, sir.
I need an attorney for civil rights violations. I really want to go forward and sue this county and just
You said
start the lawsuit.
North Carolina. Am
Yes.
I correct on that? I
Yes,
do
ma'am.
have one. In North Carolina. Hold on. Sorry, I'm working on
JJ,
it.
give me
Like
a pen.
no, I'm
You're
gonna
good.
post it on the show. Don't.
Oh, okay. I've been asking and trying to get an attorney to go after them for civil rights violations. I want to start the lawsuit because I'm pretty sure once that starts and they got to answer to something, I'm pretty sure they're going to say, "Oh, we'll give you your kids back real quick." Or I hope. I would settle that just to get my kids back. But with what they've done to me and my wife and how they make us do a strip search when we go for a urine test or a hair test, yeah, no, you it's gonna go. It's gonna go noticed. I mean, I'm not
And for them to learn
ever gonna let it quit.
and say
I'm gonna fight
You
that
have to
someday.
appeal. I think you have to appeal the judge's decision. You cannot just sue while the child is in custody unless the child or the children are, God forbid, died or they're in a coma.
They
But
better never. They better hope that never happens to my kids.
I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, people think you can just go and sue. It doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. And I hate to say this, guys. It's not me. I just, it is what it is, you know?
I know my oldest daughter. She had when they took her, she was going in her senior year of high school, and she had gotten a scholarship to a university in North Carolina, Pfeiffer University, and it was a $250,000 total between the 4 years that she got. And the social worker wound up telling her that if you go to that school, I can't just call and help you if you have a problem because it's a private school. It's not state ran and it's not county ran. And I just can't reach out and make a phone call and help you out if you get into any kind of problems. So my daughter listened to her and decided not to go to that school. Turned down. She gave up a $250,000 scholarship. So that's what it would have been total with the 4 years of school. I mean, they did that girl real wrong when they told her about the 18 to 21 group. I don't know if they have this across the country, but here in North Carolina, after you age out, before you age out, they try to convince you and talk you into signing into the 18 to 21 group so they can continue getting paid for you. It's a pretty sick, crazy
they didn't even help her with community college.
way that they do everything. Like, they didn't give her a hand in community college. They told her we would help you with a car insurance, a place to live, food, money, whatever you need. You just ask us and we'll help you with it. Well, here she is, 20 years old now. going to be 20. She still don't have a car, car insurance or anything, a driver's license or anything like that. When she got a care, she couldn't even go for her license while in their care. In the state of North Carolina, they have to have car insurance before they can even get their license. you gotta have car insurance and own a car and all of that before you can actually go to get your license. It makes no sense the way they do it here. But we've had.
Okay, here we go. So I have, well, okay, I left a message for this person in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to post them. This group right here is called, am I? Oh, here it is. This one right here. No, that's Salt Lake City. This one is Salt Lake City. Let me go down.
Okay.
This one right here is it's called Rupa's Law Firm for civil cases, and
Uh-huh.
they handle civil cases against the county. That's what I was told.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the legal assistant took my information, or the whoever answered the phone, and she said that the one of the, I guess the lead attorney is going to contact me. When I told her I work for the law office of Vincent Davis in California, she said one of
Okay.
the lead attorneys will contact me tomorrow before the weekend. So who knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is the information that I got from her. I mean, yeah, that they handle CPS civil cases. Okay.
Okay.
So far, I got North Carolina and Salt Lake City. I don't know if anybody else asked me for anything else. Yeah, Family Preservation Foundation. Same with the. Okay, so I guess that's it. I think I didn't miss anything.
Here's something that you might find a little interesting. I don't know if they do it all over the place, but when they served us paperwork, the first time we ever got a hold of the paperwork in our hand, they automatically separated me and my wife. Like, we're married, we legally married, Robert and Jamie Jolicoeur. I mean, we in church we got married by the state. So how come it's not Mr. and Mrs. Jolicoeur and it's Jamie here, Robert here? We both get separate attorneys. It's like we're two different people. We're not one. Like, I believe when I got married, we were two people turning into one, not two people, still two people when you want us to be, and then one person when you want us to be.
Let me answer that. In the state, they treat you separately. So the state is dividing you. But when you're in family court, they treat you as one. So husband and wife. Now in the state court, they divide families. You become individually, I guess, persecuted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, they don't see you as one. They see you as individuals. And that's why I told you they're demonic, because only a demon want to divide.
Mm-hmm.
God unites as one, because when you get married, and that's what God intended marriage for. When you consummate a marriage, is between you and your wife, and
Mm-hmm.
God makes you one, and God is in the midst of you, right? The
Yep.
state comes and says, no, forget God. Let's just divide these people, and let's take advantage of them separately. And
Mm-hmm.
that's called a demonic strategy. It's a demonic strategy. Believe it or not, demons with the devil, the main kahuna, I guess you want to call them, they come up with strategies to trick mankind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the strategies. What is the closest thing to your heart?
Yeah. Your
It's not
spouse,
even your wife.
it's
No,
your kids. Mm-hmm.
it's your children.
Yep.
What is the closest thing to God? Is his children.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the enemy going to fight? The children.
Yep.
Right? So they're
Yep.
going in order for them to get to the children, they have to divide the family.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to cripple the father. The father is the defender. The father is the hero. The father is the man of the house. The father is the protector. Right?
Yep.
They're going to have to
Yep.
divide that, make the father go insane,
Yeah.
And then make the mother go crazy to the point where she's fighting with the father, and they're both blaming each other, and then that's it. It's gone. Family's done.
Yeah. See, we didn't play that game. Like
Mhm.
we're still together. We're married. I don't know if she's happy, but I say we're happily married. We've been together 20 years. It ain't gonna change. I mean, they ain't gonna producing a divorce in this relationship unless one of us die first. I made my vows. I said till the day I die. So I meant it. I wasn't joking.
Well, all I can
Uh,
tell you is all I can tell you guys this it's not something that you guys have done wrong, because life happens, guys.
oh
We're
yeah, you know
God
that.
knows we're not perfect, right? But
Oh no, but not before. But no matter.
right, but it's not. They make it look like you've committed a crime when you didn't.
Yep. And they treat you like a criminal.
Yep, that's what they do. And I'm so sorry you had to go through this demonic.
Oh, even one further, like the cop thing. Here's another thing that happens. Um, the first court date, non-secured, we didn't get no discussion of visitation or nothing from the judge. Like she just was rah 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 rah, hate on us, and that was it.
Mhm.
The second judge, when we went back, he was like more human. Like came another approach. Like maybe he wasn't a family court judge. Like in North Carolina, they bounce around and they go from courtroom to courtroom, so they could be in any court at any day. Um, he turned around and it was like, "Yo, there's no visitation. Why is there no visitation?" And he went asking the social worker, asking DSS attorney, and he was like, "No, I'm giving these parents visitation. They're going to see their kids." Da, 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 da. Well, he ordered visitation at 1 hour, one time a week on the order, and that's how it's written. One time a week for no less than 1 hour. Um, from the start, CPS started our visitations, in-person visitations, every other week, and they kept it that way for about a year, maybe a little bit more. And then they couldn't use that excuse no more because I brought it. Like I was like, "Yo, well, this is just the way the order's written." Blah 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 blah. And then it was, "Oh well, COVID's over. We can go back to once a week."
Mhm.
And like they never followed that the entire
And they
time.
won't. They're not, Robert. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
1 second, Robert. Stasha, I have a CPS defense attorney in Canada, but the only questions I have to ask you, sweetheart, is that where is the child living now, and who has legal custody currently of the child? So if you can answer those two questions, that's his me here in Canada. CPS first. No, if you can, Stasha, I hope to God you're listening to me, Stasha LeBlanc. Um, if you can just tell me where the child or the children are living now, and who has custody of them or temporary custody of them. If you can write that real quick, I would be able to give you the information. And Nova Scotia, who's Nova Scotia? I'm asking you who has the
Nova
where
Scotia.
Nova whatever. Where I'm not. I'm asking for the place. Like, is it in a foster home? The children are in a foster home. Are
Oh,
they in? Are they with family members? Are they with the ex-husband? Where are the children? Yeah, okay, family, foster family. Okay, do they have legal guardianship of the children, or the case is still open? Okay, that's there, Mike. Okay, she said case open. Okay. What are the accusations? If you can just tell me what the accusations are.
they had 7 pages of them by the time they came to my door.
I know everybody has something. LeBlanc, just tell me what the accusations are, baby. Most likely abuse and neglect.
Yeah, the same thing they try to hit everybody with. big one here in North Carolina ever since COVID is stopped. Their big one is medical neglect. Kitty cat, you gotta get out the way. Be good
Oh
to
shit. Here we go. I found it. Okay, so
I think he might want some more food.
Of course he does.
He is the fattest little cat I've ever seen in my life.
He's actually not fat, okay? He's just fluffy.
that's what I say to you when I overeat. I'm just fluffy.
Yeah. I wish I could overeat and become fluffy.
He's actually not fat at all. He's just working his way to getting there.
I
And now
don't
he's
think you
wanting love.
ever work your way to get there.
We're talking.
That's not something I want to hear at the moment.
Yeah, we're talking about a
I'm
cat.
working so hard not to continue getting there.
Yeah.
No, a cat.
All right, here we go. Hold on.
Tell Destiny I'll start cooking in 20 minutes.
Oh man. Hold on, guys.
Did you get me something clean so I can bread the chicken and all that, or no?
Okay, here we go. So this link right here is going to take you guys to that's the one for Canada, baby girl. So this is the Canada part, the attorneys. This link is going to take you to I guess, a portal. Okay, they're going to ask you questions, just like you're going to be chatting.
I can hop off right now.
They're going to ask you. Canada is very hard to find.
Um,
Okay, attorneys in Canada that handle CPS
okay,
cases.
the people.
So there's only 3. So these people will take you to where that attorney is. This information was provided to me. Hi, Darren. I'm so sorry, sweetie. By another attorney. They said in Canada it's very limited. They only have 3. You are very welcome, my love. I just hope, but make sure you answer the questions. They will take you. There's only 3. He said there's only 3 that will be able to help you in Canada.
Cool.
So
There must be some awfully busy attorneys.
and I'm still trying to work on Hawaii. I know one of you guys asked me about Hawaii last week. The Paradise Island. Hi, my tiny animal. My rat. I'm gonna call you my rat. Yeah. There. Sorry. Now you can go on, Robert. I know we're past the time, but oh well.
You're okay.
Darren is awake now. I mean, Darren.
I don't even know where we left off last.
We left off at the cat is too chubby and fluffy.
Oh God.
The look on his face just now too when she said
We had that I told you about the visitation debacle that they never once followed the court ordered by the judge visitation of 1 hour per week. They only did 1 hour every other week, and that was because they had placed my son about 3 hours away from home.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole different area. Like my son just when they first took him.
Did they place your son in a group home, Robert, or
at one point?
At one point, yeah. When they first took him, they did their little question interrogation type deal, and they decided that he didn't need to go to a hospital or any mental health. Like he didn't need it.
But that was why you took him.
But that's exactly why you took him out of our care, because we didn't take him to the hospital to get him an assessment done. Why do you think we went to the doctor in the first place? We wanted him to go speak to a psychiatrist. We were trying to get him help.
That's where the funding should go, right there.
Mm-hmm.
We said we wanted him to get help. That's where the Title IV funding should go toward that help, while the child is still in your custody, so the therapist can conduct interviews between you and the child to see where the child came up with, I want to hurt myself. You know why some children say that? Some male children say that? Because one kid told me in the locker room, he was so embarrassed because after football game, one of the boys, in that locker room was making fun of his, what?
Mm-hmm.
And, he said, Miss G, I wasn't circumcised. But he had, he told me that they were making fun of him. He felt so embarrassed. And every time they see him with his girlfriend, they were like, hey, man, your boy is like this. And, they would make so much fun of him to the point where he was embarrassed to even keep his girlfriend around. Like he was so embarrassed that he wanted to hurt himself. So oftentimes the bullying creates the doubt in a child or a teenager, especially teenagers. They're trying to find their identity.
Yeah. At that point, they're so awkward in their own lives. They're confused already.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's not you, Robert. It's not your wife either. It's not your cat. It's not your fluffy cat either. So it's kind of like, and I'm not trying to be funny. It just life happens. But before they figure out, like, I'm not a psychiatrist. I think better than a psychiatrist. I have more common sense than a psychiatrist. You know what a psychiatrist does? Well, not all psychiatrists. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. But some psychiatrists will be like, so did your daddy rape you? Did your daddy touch you in appropriate places? Well, did your mommy touch you in appropriate places? So what they do is like, dude, like, can you just like get to the point where what happened in school? Did something happen in school? Did somebody, target you? Did somebody bully you? Think about it. Get to the core of the issue. But what they do like 10 sessions of maybe daddy raped you. It's like
they try to push it in their heads.
I swear I'm not joking. This is what happens. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm just saying there's literally, just because you have your book smart, it does not mean you're actually
intelligent.
Thank you. It doesn't mean that. There's a lot of intelligent people who didn't even graduate high school that can build a car better than, MGM or GIM or whatever. What's our car brand? GIM? What's
GM? GM. General Motors.
General Motors. I'm so sorry. Yeah, they build like an engine better than General Motors. What I'm saying is, an education doesn't make a person smart. Believe it or not. Because there's a lot of people who have a piece of paper and they're dumb as F in life.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before. Just dumb as rocks, and
there you go. I'm just
degrees all over the place.
No disrespect to CEOs or attorneys or judges. Well, judges maybe a little bit, but no disrespect to anyone. This is just a fact. So don't look down on somebody who doesn't have an education. Don't look down, because they can be smarter than you. And believe me,
I would never do that. My dad stopped school. God, I think he stopped in the 7th grade because he was back in his time. He went to work and helped take care of the family. They had 7 other kids. My father was a twin. He was the oldest, so he made sure he went out, worked, and do what he had to do. His father wasn't stand up like my dad or me, and took care of his kids and was there. My dad's dad was like a type of guy that would come, hit it, leave, come back 9 months later, 10 months later, hit it again, leave for about another year, come back, hit it again, and leave for another year. Like, my dad never met his dad and never really got to know his father well. And when my father was a teenager, he was out there working with some guy in Virginia doing siding because his father had gotten into a partnership with the guy and he owed him money. So my dad went and worked off his father's debt to the guy. And then he came back home like a year or two later. But he was out of state for a while I was a kid growing up. But that was just to repay his father's debt to somebody else, and he didn't even know his father. That's just the type of guy my father was. My dad was a hard-working SOB. He would do 16 hours a day in a warehouse. Didn't have an education, couldn't read, couldn't write, but he was the top checker at his job. He worked for ShopRite. That's a food organization, like a food grocery store up north, and he worked for them for 30 years. And he didn't even have an education. He couldn't read the cases. He couldn't read the boxes. But he came up with a color code system in his own head. And he was the best one in the job. Like,
Right.
Never
Right.
had an issue. He worked there like a dog, and he passed away a couple of years ago, a renal failure. But
I'm so sorry to hear that. But Robert, we're gonna have to now. We're really gonna have to go. But Darren,
okay.
I want you to be able to speak. Also, I sent you a message. I don't know if you saw it or not. Did you see the private chat?
I can't hear him.
You can't hear him?
Yeah,
You
I
can't-
can't hear him. I can't hear him at
Oh,
all.
you're muted, Robert. I mean,
Yeah,
Darren,
you
you're
muted me.
yeah.
I
I'm
said,
sorry.
it's just unfortunate that these people in the mental situations are being taken away from their homes where they need to be, where their support is, and they're thrown away. Like you said that your son's 3 hours away. Well, I'm pretty sure the rule is if they take them from your home that they're supposed to stay within the same county or within 100 miles, I believe, or something along those lines. Like, so they're doing everything that they're not supposed to be doing, and all in the effects of what? Saying that you're bad parents, or and all you're trying to do is get your kid well. What makes them able? They see the problem is they're trying to play God,
right?
And they're not God. Like you're your son's parents, and that's it. Simple as that. They have no business in this. You were doing everything that you were supposed to be doing. And then why? So they can come and take them and then try to do it themselves. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense at all.
Right.
And this is happening every day. And it's just
Everywhere.
getting to the point where, like, when are people going to wake up and realize that this is what this group is doing? Someone needs to awaken and see this, because we're all just sitting here telling stories and stories and stories, but nothing's getting any better. Nothing's getting fixed.
Nope.
And it's getting worse and worse. Like we're getting more, like they attack the substance abuse people. Well, that's kind of waving out now. So now they're attacking the people with the mental problems, and they're just going right around the gamut of easy targets to collect people as mass amounts as they can to get the money up. I was reading earlier about when we were talking about the foster parents thing. They get like upwards of $700 to $800 a kid per month extra when it's the foster family stuff, on top of all this other stuff. And that's just absolutely asinine. It's asinine to know that, just because you're going to get a license in your home, and then that also keeps CPS available to enter into your home. And that's why they're making everybody get these foster licenses, because it gives them access to these kids all the time. If like, where's the kinship programs, and grandma just taking the baby? No, not anymore. Everybody's got to. I know in the state of Maine, they require you to be a foster home now if you take any kids. So why? They're not a foster home. That's not what your career is going to be. Your grandma. Grandma shouldn't have to have a foster home, but that's how they stay in your life. Like, these people are just infiltrating our lives at every aspect. If you even have a splinter now, it's like CPS can come and just rob you out of your house.
Oh yeah, and it's true what he just said. I swear it's true. I'm not joking. It could be something like like a piece of wood, whatever. Anything. Oh my God.
When are the HIPAA violations going to come into play here? Like, for all this mental awareness and mental evaluations, like, that's where they're attacking the substance abuse people, because a lot of the HIPAA violation, the HIPAA stuff didn't quite cover that substance abuse. So they're able to get a hold of, these informations and come and snag people there. But now they're going to start doing it with people like your kid. Same thing, like, privacy is privacy. That doesn't mean that you get a little bit of it and then not some. It's just asinine, and it's sickening that they're doing this to their own population. Like, they're not trying to get anybody help. And like Miss G said, absolutely, that Title IV funding is supposed to be like, so you, Robert, could be like, hey, my son needs some mental help. I need some funding to get this to, so he can stay home and I don't have to send him to a home or something. That's supposed to be so you could access that and get help for your kid and rehabilitate your family. Yeah. Not so CPS is cornered to the market, if you will. They monopolized it. And it's gotten too out of control, and there's nobody with the Gajonis to do anything about it. There really isn't.
Yeah, they get more money per medicine that the kid takes. I mean, that's how much I've done research into this myself. I mean, I've been doing it for 26 months.
Farmica is part of CPS. Farmica, which is pharmaceutical company. They're the ones who are benefiting from all this, and guess what? They support CPS fully.
That's why they keep trying to put kids on Zoloft.
Fully.
That's why they want them on Zoloft so bad.
Bipolar. How you bipolar 5-year-old? You depleted souls.
How what do we figure that out? You didn't even know, right, Miss G? We found out on that episode. Wasn't it 20 years old before you'll come out? They can actually say that you're bipolar or something.
Yep.
But they're making all these kids, all the young kids bipolar.
18.
18.
I apologize. Yes, 18. And 18 they can diagnose, and even then they have to do more study on that. But a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, no, man, no.
It's almost like they're going around the gamut of substances. Like they can't get anybody pills and stuff anymore. So now they're going to go to the mental people and you're going to get them the benzos. Let's get all these kids on Ritalin and all these, all this stuff. They're depressed. Give them all this stuff and give them, I don't even know the drugs, but it's just like that.
Adderall, ADD medicine.
We're not getting opiate people anymore. So,
the list of them: Xanaxes, Klonopins. I mean,
all of that is just temporary fix. What it does, it gets you hooked on it. And then for another thing too, Darren, if you remember, PTSD is diagnosed with kids. Well, guess why they develop PTSD? They develop PTSD not because of
they're pulled out of their homes.
Exactly. You pull it
because you ripped them out of their home where they feel safe, where they expect to be. You ripped them out of home, you turn their life upside down. You didn't expect them to have post-traumatic disorder.
Right. They want mom and dad. They don't want just dad. Right. They don't want just mom. They want mom and dad. Now, when you take a child from their comfort zone, they are going to develop PTSD. Don't blame the parents, social workers. CPS judges, do not blame the parents because you guys have just a piece of paper. Just you have a degree, but you lack basic common sense. Basic common sense that people live on. You lack it. And all you care about is that money coming in so rapidly and increasing so much that you're blinded to what you're doing to families, what you're doing to children. Our new generation, they're going to be so screwed up.
Yep.
It's going to be the land of the drug America. That's exactly what America is right now. America is methamphetamine. America is Xanax, whatever they call it. America is mushroom. America is not America anymore. This is becoming like.
It's what Paul Harvey said in that video. It's exactly what Paul Harvey said in that. What will the world be without
Yeah. And Paul Harvey said it how many years ago, Darren? 60 years ago?
40 years, yeah, a long time. Yeah, 1960 something or 1960. Yeah, a long time.
60, yeah, okay, I know it was, I don't know, 1940 something.
Yeah, a long time ago.
And he said exactly what's happening right now with the state, by the way, and the counties and what the devil is doing. The devil has demons. Demons have a strategy that's given to them by Satan to trick mankind. I respect you if you don't believe in God. I have no disrespect for you. But this is something that is true. Demons exist, devil exists, and their mission is to confuse and divide family. Family unity is God, division is Satan. Nothing good about it. Okay? What divides us? Drugs, alcohol, county, and state. Okay? What God made one, state divides. That's not normal. Nothing about this is normal. So please do your due diligence, study, educate yourself and educate other people. And because if we are not one together, they're going to devour us
Yep.
one
And
by one. Yeah,
it's sad that the people of the United
that's why
States,
they want to sedate it. Yep.
it's such a, I think it's in such a shit show here that if it's at a point that almost we have no other choice but to revolt and have a civil war or
Yeah.
something, because our rights are being eroded every day. They write bills just to take more rights away from us. Patriot Act, everything else, and
The Patriot Act, that one. Yeah.
they take more rights away from us than we even think about. And most people don't even understand, nor think, nor know. If you don't use your rights, you lose them.
Hey, as long as NFL Sunday is still on, and as long as these rock and roll bands are still playing music at concerts, and as long as nobody's noticing what's going on, they don't care.
Distraction.
No one understands that this is all just it's all just smoke and mirrors, man. As long as your personal lives are not being affected by this, they don't care. I mean, how come you don't see any CPS commercials on TV? You don't even
Hell
see
no.
CPS commercials on TV for the good of CPS, let alone the bad of
Right.
CPS. Why?
Right.
Because they don't want America to know that
Think
there
about
is a CPS out there, period.
Right.
You know, they don't want that. They don't, because why wouldn't they be out there saying look at the Sally Struthers commercials with the kids in Africa. You saw them all the time. Donate $1, help Sally Struthers save African children from starving and all this. You don't ever see support child protective services here in America to save families. Why? Because we don't have the issues that they're saying we have, and they don't want America to know that they even exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Because as long as they can keep that silent, they're going to keep everybody silent. You only hear people like us coming out and talking about it, and everybody that sees us talking about it thinks we're crazy.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
we're nuts.
And that's why they want to keep us sedated, and that's why they want to keep us drunk, and that's why they want to keep us. Well, they get people used to drugs. Pharmaceutical companies, they get so addicted to it, then they take people's children with prescription drugs. Now, you tell me, prescription drugs, really? Are you going to take a child because the doctor prescribed a drug? That makes absolutely zero sense.
And then you're going to give the child drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're right. They give the children drugs. They get hooked on the drugs. They grow out of the system. They become crazy when they don't have the drugs. So then they go and steal and do things, and then they get jailed. And there you go. I mean,
They've done
70%.
exactly what the plan says.
Yeah,
They've done exactly what they wanted to.
Yeah, 72% of the children that grew out of the system are in jail.
Yep.
Okay.
Feed the
Not
system.
my kids.
We're the only one in this world that has a for-profit prison system. What do you think? You know, like our
that's
deals are,
ridiculous.
our deals are for money.
Oh,
But you know what they're
private
keeping
system.
in jail? The innocent ones. You know who they're letting out? The pedophiles.
Yeah, the prisoners. I mean, they're criminals.
Yeah.
Yep.
The pedophiles, the rapers, the molesters, the child
those are the ones that want
pornographers.
the children.
Yeah. That's what they're keeping it out of jail. I'm not joking.
Last night when you were messaging me last night, and I couldn't answer you at first, but I answered you as soon as I could.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the back of a cop car, handcuffed.
Yeah.
No, I don't deny or lie anything, Jamie. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last night I got locked up last night for probation violation.
All because you took the guy to your.
Because I couldn't make my appointment. I missed a couple appointments with my probation officer. This last 2 weeks, I've been so sick. I was supposed to do that one show, and I was so sick I couldn't even do it. I had to go to the hospital. I've been sick since then, and I told the probation, I can't make it to you. I'm sick. Nope. Violate me for missing appointments, and then come to my house, pick me up, bring me to jail. Yeah. I mean, really. And then I go all the way out to jail, run through, and I get released on a promissory note to appear in court. I got to go to court tomorrow morning. I got to be there at 9:30 a.m.
All right, guys, we're going to have to end the show. Is there any last words you want to say, Darren, to Robert?
No, I just wake up, America, because this is coming to you. So wake up. Tell everybody what's going on. Educate people. Get the word out, because this thing has no boundaries, and it's coming.
No, it's certainly don't have any boundaries. They're going to take everybody they can.
Yeah. All right, Robert, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
And can I see your fluffy cat real quick? I'm curious. I have 2 cats. That's why I want to see you. Can I see your cat?
You see my cat? Hold on. Which one you want to see?
The one
I want to see Fluffy.
You want to see Fluffy? Okay, here's Fat Boy.
He's just.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
Kaito.
he's not Fluffy. Oh,
But he's getting happy.
Oh, there
okay.
goes the
I
Psycho
see. I
dogs.
see where the fluffiness is. The tummy, right?
Yeah,
Tummy.
we got a miniature zoo here. I apologize. My
No, it's
kids,
okay.
when we went to hotels, we lost our pets, and my kids were all upset when that happened. I
Oh.
tried to save them. We had 2 dogs in the hotel for a while, and I just couldn't afford it no more, and I had to give them up. And then when we got the new place and had the kids there, before the kids were taken, I told the kids, look, you can have whatever pet you want. You name it. You want a pet, you tell me what you want, we'll go get it. And we got pets. And when CPS took my kids, they asked me, Dad, please don't make us lose our pets again. So I kept every single pet that we had then, and anyone that they've had seen since. Like, my kids still get to pick their pets. I'll take care of them.
that's awesome.
In place of my kids, I'll take care of their pets until I can have my kids back home.
Yep.
And
And then they can deal with them.
my kids know that they'll have a home no matter where they go or whatever. Like when they turn
Robert,
18, they free their home.
when you call that law firm, tell them that Georgette from the law office of Vincent Davis referred you. And if you have any questions, they can call me. Okay.
Okay, I will do. Thank you very much.
You're
I
very welcome.
appreciate y'all. You have a great night.
God bless you guys.
Thank you.
Good night, Darren. I guess that's it, dude.
That's so sad.
This is sad. He just got the dogs, the pet. Oh my God, this is. I just want to I swear, Darren, I want to go. Oh my God, I don't know.
Pray on them. So awful.
It's horrible. It's so freaking horrible.
Every day is, it's just, and think about it. We do this couple of shows a day. You do yours, I do mine. Then we do these ones. Think about it. That's 5 maybe between us a day, but that's not even it. That's 5 minutes so in 5 minutes, 5 kids get taken into CPS custody. That doesn't even cover the rest of the day. We do more shows. We don't even do enough shows to cover the amount of kids taken in an hour. Think about that.
Yep, I agree.
It's crazy.
I agree. But this is, they got the place, they got the pets, and the kids are gone.
Yep.
And now, just be careful before Christmas. We're gonna get a lot of parents losing.
Yeah,
their
you know dang well the influx is coming. Yep.
4 days before Christmas. 4 days before Christmas and a New Year, they're going to bust in your home when you least expect it.
Yep.
To take a baby or take a child or children. So
Yep.
pray over your family. Stay away from trouble. Don't call the police for every little stupid crap. And grow up and handle matters among yourselves. If there's any dispute, do not hurt one another. Discuss it. Do not be angry, because I was like telling Darren earlier, when you get angry, God is not with you at that moment. You know why? Because the devil took over. The devil is destruction. They want you to destroy yourself. They want you to get angry. You can be angry, but sin not. Okay, you can get angry at the ugliness of the person or the demise of someone, right? But do not hurt them. What I'm saying, do not hurt and do not get angry to the point where you lose yourself and lose your sanity. So don't give the enemy a reason to come in your home.
Nope.
That's it. Don't.
All right.
Don't. Be civil. Take a step back and act like grown-ups. And that's pretty much, and work on yourselves. Nobody's perfect. God knows I'm not.
Nope.
Work on yourselves. Work on changing yourself. Like I was telling like Darren earlier, I'm like, you know what? We all need to work on ourselves. We all have issues because we're dealing with crazy. When you deal with crazy, you just can't, you're fed up. You're like, okay, enough is enough.
Yep.
It's enough. Like, what the hell? You're not made out of stone. You have feelings, you have a heart, you have a brain, you have conscience. So, but sometimes you have to treat an enemy or evil with kindness. You know why?
Show
Because
kindness, he'll leave you with kindness. You're right.
yeah, when you're kind to evil, they're going to be so pissed because they want you to be angry. They want to push your buttons for you to lose your mind because they want you to sin, because anger is not from God. Anger is not. Lies is not. Deception is not. Theft is not. Drugs is not. None of that. Anything that takes over more power than God is not for you. It's not. Because that's what's controlling you. If you have that controlling you, then God is not in the midst of sin. So, again, think about it. Think about what I said. Meditate on it, if you will. Ask God to come in your heart and your life and fix you. Fix you. You need a lot of fixing. We all do. And I'm number one. Okay? God bless you guys. Don't give up. And, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to contact me. And let's help one another. That's all I have to say. Darren.
Good night, Miss G.
Good night, Mr. D.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, Mary. Okay.
She's fine. Bye.